Okay, I only have one person in my audience, as you know, and that is my fiance. He's taping it. And my speech is going to be about how to buy a house. Have you ever bought a house? If so, you know that it's very time consuming, very stressful. And if you haven't, you're about to find out why it's stressful and why it's so time consuming. You can't, most of the time, just get on the internet and look around at a house, find a house you want, and go buy it. It's just not that simple. There's a lot more steps involved that people don't think about. The first step in buying a house is going to the bank and trying to get approved for a loan, a house mortgage. Say you go to the bank and they say you're approved for $150,000. But you know that in your budget and what you can spend, you only want to spend around $100,000. Well, it's a little easier said than done if someone offers you $150,000 to not take it. You want to stay in your limit, just because if not, you're going to wind up into something that you don't want to be in, or in the beginning we're thinking, oh, $150,000 house, you know, we can do this. The bank says that we can do it, so obviously we can do it. But come to find out, a couple years down the road, you really couldn't do it, or it's just not, it's not right. The next step into buying a house is figuring out what kind of house do you want. Do you want 2-story? Do you want 1-story? Do you want a basement? Do you want a garage? Do you want a lot of land? Do you want to live in town? What county do you want to live in? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff, you know, a lot more detail you can go into about what kind of house you want. The main thing is you don't want to settle on a house. It doesn't matter how picky you are. You want to get into a house that you love and that you can see yourself being in for a while. If you have a family, that's going to fit your family. And if you don't have a family and are, you know you're going to have a family at some point, a house that's going to be suitable for that point in time in your life. The next step in buying a house would be selecting a realtor. Now, you don't want to just go out and get on Carpenter website or whatever website you want to go through and call the first person you see. You want to, you know, try to see if someone else knows a realtor or has gone through somebody, because you want to have someone you trust, because they're going to be dealing with your money and they're most likely going to learn a lot about you in this next however long it takes you to buy a house. And someone that you like, because most of the time, 3/4 of the time, you're not going to go out to your first house you see, like it, and buy it. That's just not normally how it works. You're going to have to look at many different houses. It could take a couple days, a couple weeks. It could take months, or maybe even a year. You know, you never know. It's a long process, and that's one of the reasons why it is so stressful, because you might see a house that you love and that you just want to get in it right now. You know, you're ready to buy a house, but it may not have everything you want. And that's where compromising comes into play, because say you found a house that's $100,000 but it's only 2 bedrooms, and you found another house that is $110,000 but it's only whatever, it's 3 bedrooms, which is what you wanted, but it's also $10,000 more higher. So you kind of just have to give and take, compromise what's more important, and just figure out what you can live with at the time, and hopefully a couple more years down the road. The next step in the process is looking at houses. You're probably going to look at several different houses. Like I said, you're not going to, the first one you see, you might love, but most likely you're not going to get, and most likely you're not going to be in love with it. There's a lot of other houses out there that might be better and might suit you better. The next step is to make an offer. You want to be kind of negotiable with the seller. Say, you know, obviously you're probably going to try to talk them down a little, but maybe add in closing costs, or if there's something wrong with the house, see if maybe they can fix it, or, you know, just something like that. Try to be negotiable, because most of the time either the seller is trying to make money, just trying to get out of the house because they have a reason to get out of their house, or something like that, so they're going to negotiate with you a little bit. The next step to buying a house would be the inspection. And the inspection can either be good or it can be bad. Say that you found this house, you made an offer, everything went well, and then the inspection comes up and there's a leak in the roof and it's going to cost $3,000 or whatever. You have 10 days to decide if you want to pay that money to fix the roof or if you want to back out of it. So that's where the good and the bad come in. The inspection could go great and you're going to closing day and the house is yours. Or it could go bad to where you love this house but there's a major problem to it that you're going to have to fix for an amount of money that maybe you weren't looking to spend. After inspection day, if everything goes well and goes as planned, there's nothing that needs to be fixed and you're ready to buy, you move on to closing day. And closing day is just where you go in to the bank and you have what they call a closing cost, which is, it can be any amount of money, but majority of the time it's an amount of money that you don't just normally have. That's why a lot of people in their offer put closing costs down, so maybe that they could pay it and whatever. So if you've never bought a house or you're thinking about buying a house, right now is the time to buy, and hopefully this speech will help you out in the process of buying a house.